welcome to week 4 of our June yoga challenge. I have been loving it. I've actually been doing yoga every day this month, so I've been enjoying this challenge, and I hope you have been too. This week we're going to work on our hips. A little bit of our hips / pelvic floor, but it's going to be so good. So this week and next week kind of both work on those areas. And then when we put the whole flow together at the end of the month, it's going to be just a great flow for us to do whenever we want. So this week we've got Garland, Happy Baby, Recline Big Toe, which for that you probably want a strap or a towel or a tie, something that you can use to help lengthen your arms. We're also going to do bridge, and then my favorite, recline butterfly. Well, one of my favorites. It's one of my favorite poses. So we're just going to go ahead and get started. So the first pose is Garland, and that's basically your yoga squat. So you're just going to start with your legs hip width apart, and you're going to come down and bring your elbows to the inside of your thighs. You want to think about keeping your chest lifted. I can talk today, and you're shooting that pelvic floor down. And when you're in this pose, you want to think about pressing through the pinky, down through the pinky of your foot. So you're just putting weight in all 4 corners of your feet, really opening the hips. A great thing to do in this pose is put a block, and I will show you. Put a block underneath there, and you can really work on opening the hips without having to think about that stability, the stability of keeping your balance and the strength of staying in a squat. So you will just sit on a block, and you can still put your elbows on the inside. Think about lifting your chest. You can just stay here and just work on just opening the hips, or start and activate your legs a little bit by putting body weight, pressing your feet into the ground. Just play around with it, see what feels good. It's a really great stretch. It's one of my favorites. It's really good for the hips, and I have tight hips, so I really like hip stretches. Our second pose is Happy Baby, and for that we're going to lay on our backs. It's probably going to hurt a little bit because I've got my mic back there. But we're going to lay on our backs, and you're going to bring your feet up. Ooh, that back hurts. Okay, hold on. We're just going to move that out for a second. Okay, you're laying on our backs, and you're going to reach for either the outside of your feet, or you can hook the big toes if you want. And you're just going to think about keeping your low back on the mat and keeping your shoulders down away from your ears and bringing those knees into your armpits. Just think about, if you're a mama, think about what a baby looks like, just being so happy that they found their feet. Just hang out here, take some deep breaths. You could roll around gently on your spine if you wanted to, back and forth. Just a great, easy, relaxing and hip opener pose. Okay, our next pose for the week is Recline Big Toe, and I forgot to grab my strap, so let me do that. So this is the one that you're going to want a strap or a towel or a tie, or even an exercise band will work. Okay, I'm back. So this one you're also going to be lying on your back. So let me take this pack off. Actually, the rest of these poses we're going to be on our back. See, it's a great week. Last week we had to stand. This week we get to lay on our backs. Okay, so you're just going to lie on your back, and you're going to take your strap and you're going to put it around one of your feet to start. Normally, you're right. You're going to put it underneath the base of your foot, and you're going to bring your leg up, keeping your hips on the mat. And you can start first by just straightening the leg. Don't lock the knees, and finding a good stretch there. And then after a couple breaths in this position, if you want, you can go ahead and let that hip fall open to a spot to a place that feels comfortable. And the really cool thing about this position is, if you want, you should probably bring your opposite arm out to the side for a little bit of stability so that you can keep your hips, your low back on the mat. But the cool thing about this pose is if you kind of think about rotating your ankle up towards the ceiling just slightly, you get a really great stretch all through the leg. And then with the strap, you have the ability to play a little bit with the hip opening. And if you're really flexible, you may not need this strap. You can hook your fingers into your big toes and do this. And back in the day in my 20s, I was flexible enough that I could do that. And then when you're ready to be done coming out of pose, you just gently bring your leg up and bring it down, and then you'll switch sides. So that is called reclined big toe. It's a great, great pose. From here, our next pose is bridge. So you can remain laying on your back, and this time you're going to bend your knees and keep your feet planted on the mat. Your arms are down by your sides, and you're going to press your hips up, squeeze in your glutes, and then gently roll your shoulders underneath. You can keep your arms at your side, or you can clasp your hands together for a little bit of an advance in this pose. Or if you need the support, you can bring your hands up underneath the small of your back if you're having too much pressure on your back. But when you do this, I still want you to be squeezing your glutes and activating your core and your glutes and your quads. Everything is engaged here. And you're breathing, and you want to make sure that your chin is not resting on your chest. You don't want to constrict your airways. You want to be able to breathe and just, this is bridge. One of the other things about bridge I like to tell everyone is think about you've got a ball between your knees. And if you have 2 blocks, you could put a block underneath your hips to give you some low back support while you're doing this pose. And you can put a block between your legs and squeeze them to really make sure that your legs aren't flaring out in this position. You want to have them in line with your hips, squeezing the glutes, driving the hips up, and then you can come out of it. Hold it for as long as you want. You can do a couple reps of it. Bridge is really common in a lot of the workout programs that we do. And it's also a great yoga pose for the pelvic floor and the hips and low back and glutes. Okay, and then for our final pose is reclined butterfly. And this is a great pose. So you're just going to, you can start back how we did for bridge with your knees bent, laying on your back, arms by your side. And from here, you're just gonna let your legs fall open like a book, knees to the ground. And then with your hands, I like to put one hand on my belly and one hand on my chest and just think about breathing, letting my hips fall where it feels natural for them. If you want, you could gently, very, very gently press on your thighs to open up your hips a little bit more. Whatever just feels good. This is one of my favorite poses to just really melt into the ground and connect with my breath. And I think that I hold a lot of tension in my hips, so this is just a good release for me. Maybe it'll be a good release for you too. So that is our 5 poses for week 4. I can't believe that we only have one more week of this, but it's been so fun. So I hope you enjoy these poses, and let me know how many times you plan on practicing this week. All right, have a good week.